Hey, what's up? Hopefully the internet doesn't peter out on me here. Yeah, those of you who watched my normal show at 8 a.m. today know that I had to end it a little prematurely because planned power outages, and sure enough, those happened. Nothing severe, just they're working on the power lines and everything. Anyways, I decided to come meet my wife at lunch, at her work for lunch, and I got a couple minutes in between. So I just wanted to do a video reminding everyone that tonight, right here on this channel, or you can find me on DLive, Twitch, Periscope, I will be debating for approximately 4 to 5 hours, depending on how long this second goes. But it's two separate shows. Both of these debates are going to be moderated by a friend of mine, Dylan Burns. Dylan has a Twitch channel you can check out if you want, Dylan Burns TV. He's a left-winger. He's a Biden supporter. We don't agree on much politically, but I think he's a pretty fair moderator. So he's going to be moderating two debates. The first will be a one-on-one debate between me and a person named Pisco. And that debate will be on the corruption of Joe and Hunter Biden and the stories that we've seen through Tony Bobulinski, through the emails, through the Ukraine saga. So that'll be the first debate. That'll go roughly 2 hours from 6 to 8 p.m. And then he has a show called the Hippy Dippy Podcast, which I'll be a guest on. That's a 4-on-4 format, which you've seen me done before. That's going to be me and 4 other conservatives, and headlining the left-wing panel will be a big left-wing Twitch streamer named Destiny. And so that is going to be on the topics of basically who should be president, Trump or Biden. That'll be the only topics being discussed. So it should be fun. Oftentimes these 4-on-4 debates, I think, I don't really enjoy them as much because, and I'm not accusing anyone of anything, it's just with that format. Like if you watch CNN and they got 12 people on the panel, it's hard for any one of those 12 people to have a coherent thought because you get 40 seconds to do a soundbite and then it goes on to the next person. I feel like that in the 4-on-4 debates as well. But, it's before the election. I wanted to do more debates. I wanted to put out a lot of content before the election here. And, it's a chance to reach out to a lot of people on the left. There will be thousands of people watching from Destiny's stream alone. I doubt I'll convince anyone's mind to not vote for Biden, but I'll try. And I'm going to do so in good faith and politely without yelling and screaming, hopefully, and make my case for not only why we should vote for Donald Trump, that won't persuade any of those people, but why even people on the left should vote against Joe Biden. Because what they represent is just a deep state takeover of all of our institutions that will be used to crush any political ideology that doesn't favor the corporatist establishment ideology. So if you're on the left and you're voting for Joe Biden, you're voting for the CIA, you're voting for the FBI, you're voting for them to run in tangent with the mainstream media and tech companies to censor any information that would be critical of them. You're voting for the military-industrial complex. That's what a vote for Joe Biden is. You're voting for China interring millions of Uyghur Muslims who has Joe Biden in their pocket. That's what you're getting when you vote for the Democratic Party. So that's going to be my goal tonight. So yeah, 6 p.m. Eastern time, you should tune in to that. I would appreciate anybody following me that tunes into that. It would be nice. Let me just take a moment to grouse a little if I can, since I'm just killing time now waiting for my wife to come out. I think my content's pretty good. I think that I'm a level-headed guy. I'm not extreme. I think I bring a different perspective to things. I think I'm willing to talk to people on all sides. I like my content. I understand not everyone will, that's fine. But sometimes it gets frustrating when you see, people that have thousands upon thousands of people that watch every one of their live streams, and they're just rabid ideologues. Not to say that everyone, they might bring things to the table that I don't stylistically that people enjoy, and that's fine. But, sometimes it gets frustrating to think that if I just kind of adapted more of a either right or left, my side's always right, the other side's always wrong, they're a bunch of a-holes, I'd have way more viewers. So, I think that I appreciate any support of me when I come onto these panels because, the number one thing that will be being said about the people that view these, no matter what happens, I already guarantee you the thousands of people watching, almost all of them will be on the left, and they're all going to say, Rob got crushed, the Democrats are all right, Rob's just a stupid QAnon, blah, 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 blah. He's fat, he's deplorable, he's disgusting, he's a racist, he's a Nazi. That's it. That's what they're going to say no matter what is said. No matter what's said in this debate, that's going to be their take on it. So at least if I have people watching and supporting me that I know will be fair and be like, yeah, actually, Rob, I think you could have said X, Y, and Z. I thought that you lost this point. That's more helpful to me, as an audience watching me. And that kind of gives me hope that there are people that are watching. I'm not asking people to just agree with me. Some of the people that the best comments I get are criticisms from people that disagree with me. But at least then that gives me hope that there are people watching that are actually willing to be fair-minded and want to hear a discussion, as opposed to people that just want to be like, oh man, I'm so woke, yuck, yuck, I'm a fan of Twitch streamers that play video games, and I'm just going to sit here and make jokes and call them fat the whole time, and somehow that is some cohesive argument. So, but hey, to each their own. People can follow for whatever reasons they want. Meanwhile, I'm just killing time. So supposedly, my wife's done at 11, so I got like 15 minutes here. So I guess I'll just ramble on for 15 minutes. But yeah, that's the big story that I wanted to cover. 6 p.m. Eastern time, whatever. You can watch me on YouTube, DLive, Periscope, Twitch. I'll be on all those platforms, so you can check out those debates. Probably 4 or 5 hours strong, so I'm sure I'll be tired of talking to left, debating by the end of this 5 hours. But it is what it is. Other programming notes. So I'm doing my 24-hour stream Monday. I talked to this a little on my show this morning, if you missed it. That show is gearing up to be quite impressive. I am getting a lot of yes that I thought were frankly out of my reach as someone who has a, small channel. I'm getting congressmen. I'm going to have actual congressmen on my show, at least one that's going to be on my show that's going to talk to me about the election. That's amazing. To know that there are people that are willing to come on and talk to me that are actually making the policies that affect our lives in D.C. That's amazing. So we're going to have federal congressmen. We're going to have Pennsylvania congressmen at the state level are going to be there. The producers of the movie Unplanned, the movie about, it was kind of about abortion rights. Those producers are going to join me. There's other people, bigger creators that have more of a national voice that are considering joining me, which would be fantastic if I can get people like that. So I'm really hoping that I have a good turnout as far as an audience. It's going to be 24 hours. During the day, you're going to see a lot of those people that are actual political figures like that. In the evening, if I have guests, they're going to be more of my friends that are content creators. But I think that it's going to be an awesome opportunity to just bring different voices at different levels, whether it be from just regular people like me, content creators that have bigger channels than me, politicians, movie producers, and it's going to be a great format to show kind of the importance of getting out and voting the next day and why it's so important to vote conservative, to vote for the Republicans and Donald Trump in this election. Even more so than that, why it's so important to vote against the deep state establishment that is the Democratic Party, and just how much they'll destroy this country if they get power. So it'll be nice to have all those guests. I'm trying to line up more guests. I would love to get a left-wing person like Glenn Greenwald, Aaron Mattei, Jimmy Dore, one of these people that understand the horrible nature of the corruption of the media, but maybe they're not Trump supporters themselves. I think it would be nice to get a voice like that on. So if you wanted to help me out, something you could do is I've been emailing Glenn Greenwald. I've been emailing and Twittering Aaron Mattei. Anyone that you could think of on the left. Michael Tracy would be someone that I would love to talk to. But if you could think of any prominent figure that you just wanted to reach out to and say, hey, my friend Rob Noah has this channel. He's doing a 24-hour live stream the day before the election. Would you like to come on for a half an hour to an hour, or even 15 minutes if they wanted, and just be part of this live stream? We could talk about whatever topic they wanted to. Look, if Glenn Greenwald comes on and he wants to talk about how he dislikes things Trump did, that's fine. I'm not asking anyone to be anything that they're not, so I'm willing to talk to anyone on that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm excited for the guest I have already. And, even if I wouldn't have got any guests, the plan was I'll talk for 24 hours. I don't care. We're going to have a call-in section. So if you have things you'd like to say to me, issues you'd like brought up, you'll be able to call in. We'll get you on the air and you can say your piece. So I'm really trying. It would really mean a lot to me if those of you that watch regularly could help promote that Monday stream. I think that it's going to be my biggest one I ever did, both quantity-wise, as far as going 24 hours nonstop, and also quality-wise. I think that it's going to be a great stream. And I think the importance of that stream is going to be right up there with as important of any stream that I've ever done. So, yeah, I'm really focused. My focus, the theme for that 24 hours is telling people the importance of voting and the importance of fighting back against the establishment, which is why it's important to vote conservative. I'm doing everything I can to help the Republican Party. I have criticisms of the Republican Party. You've heard me say it over and over again. I'm unabashedly critical of them when they should be. Same with Donald Trump. But I think in this election, it makes sense with the options we are given right now. You have to vote against the corrupt Democrat establishment that we see. Then going forward, we start to get these rhinos out for the next election. That's going to be my goal. Making sure that if the Democrats win this election, it is a win for the NSA, or not even the NSA, it's a win for the CIA, the FBI, the media, the military-industrial complex, the corrupt oligarchs that want to control this country, your Zuckerbergs, your Soros, your Dorseys, your Bill Gates. That's who it's a victory for. We will end up in more foreign wars because they're part of the military-industrial complex. We will end up with more corruption. Our economy will stagnate. And we'll have more domestic division because of it. And so, just things they're trying to do. They're trying to grant amnesty, citizenship to millions of illegals that they think will be a comfortable voting bloc so that they never lose power. They're trying to stack the Supreme Court so they never lose power. They're trying to grant statehood to additional places so they never lose power. They can't win the game. Right, of course there's going to be voter intimidation. What's up, Achilles? What's up, Hudspeth? They can't win the game as it is. Their ideas are so bad that they have to change the rules of the game. You know, what I tweeted out earlier today was, I'm looking forward to the same people that moaned and cried and, oh my God, they couldn't believe it, that 12 Russian trolls used Pokemon Go and Facebook to put some memes up, and that stole an election. That was horrible election interference. I'm looking forward to those same people now telling me tonight, oh, but, the entire mainstream media and tech apparatus being in the bag for the Democratic Party, that's not election interference. No, that's no big deal. I mean, for God's sakes, if 12 Russian trolls would decide to be on the side of Joe Biden, my God, that would be a huge deal. But as it is, multinational billion-dollar companies that control the flow of information in the tech sector and in the media sector, no problem that they're interfering to help Joe Biden. No problem at all. Totally reasonable. That's the nonsense that I have to put up with. That's the nonsense that this debate will be. I saw my buddy Drone Tech on this same panel a month ago, with people straight face saying, there's no media bias for Democrats. There's none. Like, you could say, of course there's media bias, but it should be that way. That's at least an argument. But this denial of reality, oh no, the media is split right down the middle. I mean, it's absolute garbage. It's garbage. So now we have to listen to, my entire show. Go watch my 8 a.m. show today. If you're watching on YouTube, well, YouTube's the only place I'm streaming right now. So if you're watching, go. The whole show was about the media censorship. Go watch it where I talk about how ridiculous it is that the media is doing this. The left is going to flip in Kavanaugh's sides to allow unverified ballots. Well, they already have. I think Pennsylvania is a law. I mean, again, I hope I'm wrong. I have people that get really, what's up, 223? I get people that get really upset with me because I'm predicting that Trump will lose this election. And I believe the reason is because of the corruption. And in Pennsylvania where I live, I could see it already. We had two major court decisions. One, that they're allowed to accept ballots up to 3 days after the election. And second, that those ballots' signature do not have to match your voter registration. Especially for the latter. Can anyone give me a good reason why that would be the case? Anyone? We have people that are literally willing to burn down cities, to physically attack and threaten people because they think this election's so important. You think they're beyond forging some ballots? You think so? When we see that people have been arrested for it, you think they're beyond that? Now, if the signatures don't match, oh well, who cares? I mean, and Pennsylvania is one of the keystone states, if not the keystone state. And do I trust Governor Wolf, our Democratic governor? Do I trust him to make sure things are done fairly? Look, it's not about me saying I told you so, but I told you so. I said I had tons of Q supporters and tons of Trump supporters back in a year or 2 years ago when I was saying, time to arrest Comey. Here's the evidence that Comey lied. He needs to be arrested. The IG referred Comey for criminal referral, and Bill Barr declined. He declined. He said no. And I had tons of Trump supporters tell me that's a good thing, because what this is proof of is before the election, Barr and Durham are going to bring the hammer down on Comey. Oh, they're going to get him for all these serious crimes. Really? Before the election? Yeah. I said, don't get overconfident in this election. Don't underestimate how crooked the establishment is and how they'll purposely crash the economy, which they did, how they'll rig votes, which they're doing. They'll use every means necessary to win this election. I said, these 4 years of Donald Trump were critical because we actually won a victory against the deep state, against this corrupt establishment that's been controlling DC for over 20 years. We actually won a victory, and the only reason we won that victory was because of their hubris. That's the only reason. They believed they had the election wrapped up. They thoroughly believed it. And so, they made a mistake and Trump won. They will not make that mistake again. They are not going to. Right now, we have one of the biggest political stories in the history of this country. Business associates of the Bidens admitting that the Bidens were taking money from our greatest adversary. We're intentionally trying to bury that. We're lobbying for our greatest enemy. In the words of Hunter Biden, the spy master of China. We have this story. We have the person that was connected to them admitting it, him providing physical evidence to their own words saying that. We have on tape Hunter Biden saying these things. We have Joe Biden on tape admitting to a quid pro quo to fire the prosecutor looking into his son's company. All of this in the public. It hasn't been mentioned one time on the major media, on the networks, on CNN, on MSNBC. Not one time since the Bablinski interview with Tucker Carlson. Not one time. The corruption is right in your face. They're not even trying to hide it. I'm going to debate people tonight that say that's a good thing. They're going to say we can't trust Tony Bablinski. We could trust Vindman. We could trust him. And to attack him meant that you hated the armed forces because he served this country. You could trust Miles Taylor, the nobody who was writing and admitting to sabotaging the Trump administration while he worked there. You could trust the anonymous sources about the Russian bounty story, about Trump saying soldiers are losers, about everything else that Trump supposedly did. You could trust all those anonymous sources. But when a source comes on public that was a known business associate of the Bidens, provides evidence to everything he's saying that you have access to seeing, and all of a sudden they can't cover it. This is corruption that you can't believe. If you think they're going to stop at just controlling the media, controlling the tech companies, spreading lies about Trump, burying real stories on the Bidens, if you think they're going to stop there and it's like, oh, but they're not going to try to actively interfere in the election as far as like actual ballots and things like that, I think you're making a huge mistake. This could have been avoided, by the way. The power that the media, and I have people say, well, the media is not that powerful. Really? They're not that powerful? They're losing credibility? That's what people say. But the media is pushing the lockdowns. The media is covering up for riots. I will guarantee you, just like me, are basically following the law, and you're taking it while you lose your business, while you lose your job, you lose your house, you lose your relationships with your friends and family because you can't see them. But you can go riot. You can go protest. As long as it's against Trump. Just like the media suggesting, if the media has no power and the Democrats have no power, why are we experiencing the biggest loss of freedoms in my lifetime right now? Could have been avoided. One of the ways you could have convinced the average person that there was something crooked going on was by arresting these deep state people for the crimes that we saw they committed. Lying to Congress, lying to investigators. Brennan, Clapper, Comey, McCabe, dead to rights. Yesterday, for God's sakes, Jack Dorsey lied in front of Congress. The New York Post, their story's not banned. We never censored Donald Trump. Lies. Provable lies. Lock him up. Because tonight, I'm going to be on a debate panel where everyone's going to say this. Actually, it's not the left doing violence. Christopher Wray says that it's white supremacists. It's the white supremacists that are doing all the riots. The white supremacists. They're the ones in Philly. It's the white supremacists. QAnon. It's QAnon. That's what Christopher Wray says. And there are a bunch of people in the center that are like, look, we keep hearing about the swamp. Trump's been there. Why hasn't anyone from the swamp been charged? Good question. Good question. But it wasn't, you know who, yeah, of course the left, when I was making videos showing, here are the crimes of James Comey. Here's why he should be locked up today for things that we could prove right now. On my channel, it wasn't the left. It wasn't them saying, no, this isn't true. You know who it was? The right. That's who it was. It was QAnon people. And again, I've done videos just recently where I said I'm going to get kicked off YouTube for defending QAnon, for saying it's absurd that they were being censored. I said that I knew people like Mike at the Patriot Hour that does QAnon, and he does so in a not everyone who believes QAnon's the same. Many of them are great people. But do you know how many I had on my channel telling me, oh, it's horrible, that it's a win for us that they haven't locked up Comey. So, all right. I'll be debating tonight. My wife's here now. So I'll be debating tonight. Tune in 6 p.m. Eastern time on my channel. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a good one.